This is Channel 5 News in the headlines. Dominica bans corned beef imports from Brazil due to health concerns. Consumers told to support the national abattoir as a way of securing a market for farmers and creating jobs. And customs officers complete fresh training to facilitate EPA implementation. I am Idona John Baptist with the Channel 5 News. Details coming up. First up, Dominica has banned imports of corned beef from Brazil in response to Brazil's rotten meat scandal. This following a raid by federal police in Brazil last Friday, exposing companies involved in paying bribes to food inspectors and other officials to overlook the processing of rotten meat and operating of plants where traces of salmonella had been detected. Trade Director Mathan Walter says the relevant government agencies have assessed the situation to reach a decision to ban corned beef from Brazil.
After discussions among the Ministry of Trade, the Environmental Health Unit, the Veterinary Unit in the Ministry of Agriculture, and the Customs and Excise Department, has come to the conclusion that there will be in effect an immediate ban on corned beef coming from Brazil. This decision is based on the fact that the information that we have been able to collate since this situation was brought to light has indicated that more than 78% of our imports of corned beef comes from Brazil, and as a result of which we have to take such immediate action.
Walter says while there have been no recent imports of corned beef from Brazil, the Environmental Health Department will take the necessary action to have the product pulled off shelves locally. In other lead stories, customs brokers and tariff clerks are now better equipped to carry out their functions through training in the use of Accuda World and customs control.
It is expected that the training, which wrapped up on Wednesday with a short ceremony, will go a long way in facilitating implementation of the Economic Partnership Agreement, EPA. Dominica and other CARIFORUM member states have signed on to the Economic Partnership Agreement, but building capacity through training and legislation are key to Dominica benefiting from the trade agreement. That's why this week's Customs and Accuda World Training Workshop is so important.
The government of Dominica has embarked on a program to create a more enabling environment. For example, there has been continuous focus on the agricultural sector by addressing issues critical to the quality of fresh produce exported to major regional and international markets. Moreover, the government is also investing significantly in quality institutions and facilities to enhance the market competitiveness of Dominica's products. These include 3 reception and distribution centers, the establishment of a national abattoir, and the National Center for Testing Excellence for conducting chemical, biological, and environmental analysis.
To complement all this, government is also working to build a robust consumer protection framework for trade, and focus has also been placed on trade facilitation, another critical requirement for economic growth.
Examples of such undertakings are the modernization of Customs and Excise Division, the upgrade of legislation to reflect international standards, the upgrade of automated system from the Automated System for Customs Data, Accuda World, reconfiguration of the Customs and Excise Department's organizational structure, and simplification and harmonization of trade procedures for the movement of goods across our borders.
Part of the process is to transform Dominica into an export-oriented economy that can be competitive and totally integrated into the global trading arena.
Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, has warned that no Dominican would be spared the economic impact if the Citizenship by Investment program were to end.
Mr. Scurry told a town hall meeting in Grand Bay on Tuesday that critics of the CBI program often give the false impression that only Labour Party supporters would be affected. But the Prime Minister made the point that in a more challenging world where larger countries have their own challenges and looking inward, smaller countries are on their own with respect to development assistance. He says, additionally, the world has not fully recovered from the 2008 financial crisis.
If the tourists stop coming to Dominica, you can understand the impact on the way of life of our country. The hundreds of bus drivers who depend on this cruise industry to survive. Because you have opposition elements in Dominica who are going and speaking to the cruise line people, for example, and giving them the impression that Dominica is a dangerous place. Don't come to Dominica.
He says this is no longer politics as we know it, but the survival of our country. In response to the critics, the Prime Minister insists that his administration has managed the CBI funds in a prudent and responsible manner and can account for every single CBI dollar. He urged Dominicans to stand up and defend the opportunities provided under the CBI program.
But we all have to go to the hospital and the health centers. We all must drive on the roads. We all want to ensure that when our children go to school, that there are teachers to teach. And the teachers have the resources to teach our children. Hoteliers and restaurant owners and taxi drivers and tour operators and vendors want to know that tourists will come to Dominica, because it is only when tourists come to Dominica they can make money and create jobs in Dominica. If the tourists stop coming to Dominica, you can understand the impact on the way of life of our country.
On the agriculture scene, farmers are being told that while there is money to be made by investing in pork and poultry, their efforts could be limited if consumers don't change their buying patterns.
The National Abattoir has not been fully commissioned, but since its opening, well over 12,000 chickens and over 200 pigs have been slaughtered. The Minister for Agriculture told a town hall meeting in Grand Bay on Tuesday that the local pork and poultry processed at the abattoir is safe, which makes it a healthy alternative to meat imports. But local support is critical if the National Abattoir is to reach its full potential.
Our consumption pattern in Dominica must change. As we speak, we do at least 1,000 birds a week at the abattoir. And we are supplying this chicken and pork to some of the supermarkets and to the schools and other government institutions, because we are starting, leading by example, ensuring that our sick people at the hospital eat wholesome chicken and wholesome pork. But we want the general public to buy into that as well. When you go to the market, ask for abattoir chicken.
The minister said we all have a duty to increase our consumption of products coming from the abattoir. He also made the link between buying local and keeping local people employed.
When you buy one bag of leg quarters from Brazil, you have just created an additional job in Brazil. When you buy one case of drumsticks from any of the places in town, you've just created another job in the States. When you buy one chicken from the abattoir, you've just sustained a job in Dominica.
Drago said the abattoir was ready to engage additional farmers in an effort to produce 4,000 chickens a day, but there must be a local market. In terms of assistance for farmers to expand production, Drago says 151 pork and poultry farmers have or are in the process of taking advantage of a $10 million loan facility at the Aid Bank for investment in agriculture.
Coming up, youth empowerment at council level in Atkinson and in high schools around the country. Stay with us.
The Muslim store on the Bayfront Roseau is your appliance center with washers and dryers, LG and General Electric, stoves, Maytag and Whirlpool, refrigerators, Frigidaire and Westinghouse fridge, Oster kitchen appliances, blenders, cake mixers, coffee makers, food processors, all at your appliance center. The Muslim store, locally born, locally grown.
Welcome back. Preliminary statistics indicate that almost 4,000 visitors traveled to Dominica for Carnival.
Tourism Minister Robert Tong told the DFC's Carnival prize-giving ceremony on Tuesday at Fort Young Hotel that the marketing of the country's Carnival intensified this Carnival season.
On average, Carnival brings over 3,000 visitors to Dominica. And this year we had almost 4,000 visitors from across the various markets all over the world and the Caribbean, leading up to Carnival.
Tong says the plan is to improve the Carnival product for Reunion Year 2018.
This year, Discover Dominica Authority hosted influential media personalities from the United Kingdom, St. Martin, Antigua, St. Lucia, Barbados, who have returned home and shared the wonderful stories of our Dominican adventure. This increased awareness generated a buzz about Dominica and our Carnival as we continue to market and grow the awareness in these and other source markets. As we close 2017 Carnival season, we need to commence planning on even more awesome Carnival 2018 as we'll be celebrating our 40th year of independence. We are encouraging all Dominicans abroad and our visitors to join us in 2018 for a massive celebration to mark the milestone in our history.
Despite what Carnival organizers are boasting to be a successful Mass Dominic 2017, the low participation of traditional masquerade in Roseau is a concern.
I will say that one challenge we have had and continue to have is in getting the traditional elements of our culture that are most frequently in the rural areas down to the capital to help us create and display that uniqueness as part of national parades. Time and time again, this is what Dominicans coming from abroad want to see, as it reminds them of carnivals of yesteryear. And it is these stories and pictures that they want to share with friends. And so to that end, I want to commend all those traditional groups who came to town on Monday and to tell those who said they were coming but didn't come that we're still expecting them next year.
Participants of the Carnival Road Parade competitions and Miss Dominica contestants were presented with checks on Tuesday afternoon. Discover Dominica Authority will host a Carnival review meeting in the next 2 weeks.
Newly sworn-in chairman of the Atkinson Village Council is promising inclusive representation on the needs of the community.
Paul Barron, along with 7 councillors, were sworn in Monday to serve a 3-year term.
Well, I think the whole approach is to be inclusive. Inclusive in the sense that you do not discriminate on the basis of race or gender or the likes. While we officially are not recognized as the Kalinago territory, our population in terms of the individuals who live there are of a mixed nature or a Kalinago nature. So one in the same, it is one experience for us. So we'll seek to be as very inclusive as possible, because the hope really is that once we succeed at that level, that we can use it as a model for the rest of Dominica.
He added that he feels empowered to be a young person chosen to lead the local government in his community.
Some of the key priority areas are, and in most cases, related to youth development. We would like to focus on some infrastructure, village roads. We have certain sites or attractions within the communities, and as such, we would like to develop our community tourism product. There are at least 3 notable sites: the Big River Blowhole or Dragon's Mouth, the Antrizo Beach, which is the safest beach in the Salibia constituency and as far up as Castle Bruce, and we also have a very scenic view of Guadalupe and Marigal, and that's an area known as High Rise. So we'd like to develop those sites in the first instance to sort of drive tourists to them and to bring much needed income to the communities. We'd like to focus on all small business development, on agribusinesses also. Interestingly enough, we'd like to go back to the backyard gardening initiative to sort of help people live healthier lives so that we can combat certain illnesses as diabetes and obesity and even cancer. So these are some of the areas that we'll focus on, among other things.
Long-term plans include the development of a library and resource center. He said central government and local government must work together to empower the community, and local government is well placed to identify community needs at a grassroots level.
In other news, high school students from around the country are being trained to become advocates against youth violence and abuse.
The East Dominica Children's Federation, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and UNICEF, is hosting a 3-day youth empowerment symposium. Chief Education Officer Melina Fontaine says the ministry has implemented measures to help curb incidents of abuse. However, all hands must be on deck to have an effective reduction in youth abuse.
Lately, the government, specifically through the various ministries and with support from a number of agencies, has been implementing programs towards the end of all forms of violence. It is not an easy task, as some violence-related habits are considered cultural by the population. They happen behind closed doors that are very difficult to open and are so ingrained in the everyday life of people that it is considered normal. As a result of the practices implemented, we have seen a decrease in school-based violence, and we continue to monitor this progress. However, we are also aware that there is so much more to be done.
The Youth Development Division is also playing its part in helping reduce incidents of violence and abuse among young people and empower youth in society.
And what is really sad about this whole situation, friends, is that the people who we expect, the people in society, who we expect to be protectors of our children, the people who expect to champion the cause of our children, are the very people who are violating them, the very people abusing them. And ladies and gentlemen, this has to stop. At the Youth Development Division, we sought to address this issue through many of our programs. I can speak of the skills training program, in particular, our social and related skills component.
This symposium forms part of the East Dominica Children's Federation's support toward improving the well-being of children, youth, families and communities in Dominica, and is funded by the Canada Fund for Local Initiatives.
That's news. Your sports highlights next with Kenny Williams.
First up in sports, 2 A teams met up, but only one walked away with the championship title in the finals of the Sports Division Secondary Schools Under-14 Netball Championships on Tuesday. Playing on familiar turf, Northeast Comprehensive A dominated the game 30-17 against Portsmouth Secondary A. Ethelene Telemac had a hot hand for the Northeast Comprehensive team, netting about 83% of her team's total score with 25 from 35 attempts. Janelia Phillip assisted with 5 from 9 tries. In a failed defensive attack, Rebecca George scored 11 from 27 and Rohanna Paul 6 from 8 for PSSA. With this win, Northeast Comprehensive A are back-to-back champions. On to more secondary school sports, we can tell you that Dominica Grammar School defeated Goodwill Secondary in a close encounter 61-58 in action from the Sports Division Secondary School Boys competition on Tuesday. For DGS, we had Josh Joseph with 32 points and 3 assists, while Dylan Legal chipped in with 11 points, 3 rebounds. In a losing effort, D. Eugene 30 points, 33 rebounds and 5 blocks for GSS, with Elijah Popo adding 22 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals and 2 assists. On the cricket scene, where Windward's Volcanoes will be hoping for better fortunes when they take on Leeward Islands Hurricanes in the regional 4-day tournament on Friday. So far, Volcanoes is at the bottom of the points table with 53.4, with 1 win, 4 losses and 2 draws from 7 matches played. Guyana Jaguars top the points standing with 103.2 points. Barbados is next with 87.4 and Jamaica third with 78.6. Leeward's followed with 63 and Trinidad and Tobago 58.4. Meantime, things are shaping up nicely ahead of the 2017 Windward Islands Under-15 Cricket Tournament as the Dominican squad is in preparation mode. This according to sports officer Kevin James.
Well, the guys have been doing pretty well. We are in our 3rd practice match in the last couple of weeks. We find that the batting has really come on and they have really been improving in that department. Over the years, the bowling has really carried the Dominica at that level. So we are glad to see the batsmen coming along very well. We have a few more weeks in training before the team go on to the competition, and we hope that they can continue putting in the work as long as we get the weather to get prepared for the competition.
He says working on the team's bowling will be crucial before the competition.
In the batting department, we need to rotate the strike some more. We have a lot of dot balls in between during the innings. So that is one area we have to work on quite a bit before the competition starts. We also have to work on our bowling in terms of our wides. I think that at the moment we are bowling a little bit too many wides, and usually you find in the under-15 competition the teams bowl quite a bit of wides, and the team that usually bowl the least amount of wides really stand a chance of winning most of the matches. So that is one area the team has to really buck up on. As I said, the rotating of the strike and playing the ball as straight as we can and batting for longer periods. So we hope that we can work on these 2 areas in the coming weeks.
The 2017 Windward Islands Under-15 Cricket Tournament is expected to run from April 7 to 17 in Grenada. Next up, it was raining goals on Tuesday when 23 goals were scored from just 3 matches in the DFA Sports Division Secondary School Girls League. The Castle Bruce and Isaiah Thomas Secondary Schools, as well as the Dominica State College, had outstanding performances on the day.
Carnival Secondary went on a goal spree as they hammered Orion Academy 15-0 in the first match of a doubleheader at the Stock Farm Complex. Sherry-Ann Abraham scored a beaver trick with Kamina Scott, Amanda Banis and Shemaya George each registering hat-tricks. Shaira Coffey and Daniela Laura converted 1 each. In the second match, Isaiah Thomas Secondary defeated Northeast Comprehensive 4-2. Chevnes Joseph found the back of the net twice for Northeast Comprehensive, with Jodic Joseph and Aisha Peters getting 1 each. And at the Benjamin Park, the Dominica State College edged out Portsmouth Secondary 2-1. Romelsia Phillip got both goals for college, with Jessica Pielwi scoring for PSS.
Meantime, the first round of the Dominic Women's League kicks off this weekend with 3 matches.
On Saturday, defending champions New India Goodwill Runners will take on West Coast Jaguars at the Stock Farm Complex. On Sunday, Maho Suka Strikers will come up against Bomber Starlights at the Benjamin Park, while at the Newtown playing field it will be Dive Dominica Harlem United versus New Generation Sports Club. All matches begin at 4 p.m.
Next up, 8 athletes are being considered for possible selection to the Dominican squad for the upcoming Carifta Games. Recently, athletes were given a final chance to satisfy the requirements for this year's Carifta Games. They are Kian Benjamin in the 100 meters, Keva Pierre in the 800-meter race, Leon Hippolyte in long jump, Sani Gregoire Globinski 1,500 and 3,000 meters, Natalie Roberts javelin, Cody Hamilton 200 meters, Tia George 100 meters, and Josh Tuse shot put. These athletes did not meet the qualifying standard, however they have showed promise in their respective events. The 2017 Carifta Games are carded for Curacao from April 15 to 17. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us next time.
We check in now with the Met Office for the latest weather update.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I will be your presenter for this evening, Farah Rock Curra. Let's move on now to some earlier infrared satellite imagery. Today, a high pressure system was a dominant feature which affected weather conditions across the Lesser Antilles, resulting in fair to partly cloudy skies across Dominica. What is of significance is this frontal system here, which is expected to move southward and is expected to affect us by Friday. We move on now to some earlier visible satellite imagery, and what it showed is just a few low-level cloud patches as well as some high-level clouds in the area. Earlier radar imagery indicated just a few scattered showers to the northwest of Barbados as well as to the south of St. Vincent. Weak unstable conditions will start to affect us by tonight and will affect weather conditions in the area for the next few days. The weather tonight is expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy with a few scattered showers, and of course these conditions will persist into tomorrow. Maximum temperatures are expected to peak up to 31 degrees Celsius. The marine forecast, once again, sea conditions will be moderate, and like yesterday, waves are expected to peak up to 7 feet. Let's take a look now at the weather for the next 3 days. As I said, weak and stable conditions will be affecting the weather conditions for the area for the next few days. The weather tomorrow, Thursday, partly cloudy to cloudy with a few scattered showers. On Friday, partly cloudy to cloudy with scattered showers, and on Saturday, mostly cloudy skies with some showers. The Caribbean forecast, well, the northern portion of the Lesser Antilles can expect partly cloudy skies with some showers, whereas the rest of the islands can anticipate partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some showers. On the international scene, well, only the city of New York on our list will enjoy some sunny skies tomorrow. Thunderstorm activity expected for both Miami and Caracas, and cloudy skies with some showers expected for the cities of London and Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:07 a.m. and will set at 6:17 p.m. For more information, you could always visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Join us tomorrow evening for your next weather broadcast. Thank you.
To end the news, the headlines again. Dominica bans corned beef imports from Brazil due to health concerns. Consumers told to support the National Abattoir as a way of securing a market for farmers and creating jobs. And customs officers complete fresh training to facilitate EPA implementation. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can access the news on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Idona John Baptist, and to our viewers around the world, thank you for watching.